It's July 13th. Final drafts of the English 529 papers are due tomorrow. And as I just said, may the odds be ever in your favor. As a reminder, the minimum word count is 2,000. The maximum word count is 2,500. For maximums, I count 50 more words, 2550, because, you've got an information block and stuff like that. So please meet the minimum. If you don't do the word count right, I'm just this cruel, awful person, and it's in the announcement. So this is not news. And you get 0 for articulation of response because that's who I am. And one of the reasons I do it, and I explain this, is that a lot of the online places have very specific word counts that you're either trying to be under for the most part, or for the places like the 100-word story, you have to be exactly 100 words. So word count really does matter in the publishing world at the small scale, and this is a short story class. So there you go. Any questions for me? Oh, go ahead.
I argue that like word count and being concise matters in the long form too. Because it makes
1,000%.
a world of difference when you're reading a book where the prose is tight and like intentional, instead of reading something that you could tell should have been cut,
Yeah. Absolutely. And I often say that too. So thank you for saying that and not having to have it come out of my mouth, because I'm trying to be less preachy. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to be fiercely kind is what I'm trying to be. And related to that, the module 10 work. So next week you have a discussion board and you have a sort of like a reflection on the peer review process thing again, but it has 14 rubric points. It's, insane. In the general questions discussion board, you can find way down there before the class started even, I uploaded a template you can use. I encourage you to use the outliney form for that final project, because it's very easy to miss some of these 14 rubric points. And it's very easy for me to miss that you put it in as I'm trying to grade these before the deadline of Wednesday in SNHU. So please download the format and use that to write your 10-2 peer review consideration, so that I can be like, and 14 rubric points.
I can say from experience that makes it so much easier to do it, and it really, yeah. So
no transition sentences and
just like exactly what you're writing, where you're writing it. It just, the framework was perfect. It was, and you didn't miss anything, and it made grading easier. And I love.
Thank you. I'm getting so much support today. I'm just a happy person.
I mean, the rubric points, the whole the test document thing there, it helped me, and I think I pretty much hit all the rubric points. I don't remember because that was months ago, but I did pretty well. So
yeah, no, I think you did too. And in fact, almost unfailingly, if you hit the rubric points and you're like quoting from your peers and you're using outside experts, all of those people who did all of those things end up getting 100. I mean, just because I'm like, look at people paying attention to, the advice they've been given. And I know that the using experts feels like I'm like at this point beating a dead horse, which is sacrilege for me to say. Yet not even I do this kind of thing for much of a living. I'm not truly an expert in the field if I haven't published my own craft book or if I don't have my own novels. And so I need to be backing up what I say by experts. If I'm like, when I start the MFA program in 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing that because, even though I feel really confident giving advice on fiction writing and nonfiction writing, I need to back that up because I'm a student the same as everybody else when I get in that program. All right, well set. Today, I'm pretty excited about this because I tried this out on people on Thursday, and I want to see what you all do with this. Like, you're absolutely my favorite group of people to be doing these things with. You're different, and I'm being recorded, so I can't say better, but you're really different, and it's so fun because you've been here doing this, and you're practiced at 6 minutes and I just, oh, all right. So I'm going to throw in the chat the first thing we're reading. And I'm looking for a volunteer to voice Faith Allington's Making the Year from the Folklore Review.
I'll read.
Okay, thank you.
Making the year. In the pale light of the old year, I stand watch, the afternoon sun glinting between the wings of finches and crows. Here in the damp heart of pine and oak, I learn a new tongue. I speak in brambles nourished by the loamy soil I long to swallow. Lichen swells under my skin, a velvet embroidery. One day I will turn to mushroom, pink grill or pink guild, right? Eternal with these trees. Ribbons of dusk in my hair. I know you will not always be with me, but today, this hour is ours. It's unseasonably warm this winter, just a frost that melts by morning, as if the coming season knew what we needed. At midnight, the old year will vanish into memory, and the new one emerge, shy and wondrous as the husk of hares.
Oof, right? How amazing is this? And I know the entire snoozing crew is like, why was this not submitted to us?
Very aesthetic and everything. It hits the vibes, you know. We love.
I'm loving Suzanne's love, 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 love. Yeah, so let's just start. Let's walk down the things that you get graded in 529, because I think they're a really great way to look at those grading rubric categories are such a great way to look at anything you're reading or you're writing for yourself. Is it a complete story? Is there a narrative arc in this?
Yes, of course.
And
We
you
start
think,
at the twilight one year, we end in the next, as it
Yeah.
were.
And like
Yeah.
the climatics one day turn into mushroom, maybe.
yeah, right? And something related to that. I know you will not always be with me, but today, this hour is ours. And I wish I was the person who wrote this hour is ours. Isn't that amazing? Oh, I hate it when there it is. And I'm like, oh, I should have thought of that. Yeah. So it's a complete narrative arc, strong first person narrative voice, right? So do we know who the you is in this?
I don't.
No, I feel like it's contingent, right? It could even be the narrator,
I would
because
assume it was the
you
reader.
only have your present you for this moment, you know, like
Ooh.
this is, she's talking about this change of a year and being in one year and traveling into the next year, and there's change, there's so much change in this piece already, there's so much like moving and changing, and that could even be themselves.
Yeah, I had never thought of that, and I love that idea. That's great.
I almost take it literally, even though there's so much rhetorical devices, but like it seems like it's not a person.
Mhm.
The you, yeah, it's possible that it's not a person.
I
Absolutely.
thought it was the reader, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's another great way to read it. And
I thought it was referenced to the rest of, so it was like nature versus humanity. So she's saying this is what goes on, the world, the world turns around, we're changing into mushrooms, stop and smell the coffee, you humans.
Like cycle of life type thing.
Yeah,
sure. And you guys hear how every one of these answers works.
Mhm.
My favorite part about this piece is it's so malleable. And, we've talked a lot about how Flash is requiring this engagement between the reader and the piece that's written. And this is what Faith Ellington is doing. She's like, you figure out who you is, because you gets to be whatever you're bringing to this piece right now. I make this, inevitably, this you is my sister for me, because, losing her is one of the most horrible things in my entire life. And she is always with me. But also, when I read something right now with something like this in here, I'm like, oh, somebody I really love will not always physically be with me. So you get to do whatever you want with this. And that's, oh my gosh, I love that so much. But how about the actual physical setting? What type of place are we in? Like if you were going to name what part of the US this is set in, because I happen to know it's set in the US, which part can you guess?
Midwest, upper,
Really? Okay.
I
I
would
know.
have
Ohio.
Peninsula, but that's just because I'm from here. So I would have said the Hoa, I think is how it's pronounced, HOA, the
Yeah.
rainfall.
I think it's Ho,
Yeah,
rainforest, yeah. And Suzanne's like, yeah, I was thinking the PNW too. It is. So Faith Ellington has a bio after this, and she is from the Pacific Northwest. And it does have an absolute Pacific Northwest vibe. And for my PNWers in the group or anybody, what are some of the words that give you that vibe of Pacific Northwest?
Especially the lichen
Yeah,
in
Yeah.
the dam.
Or
And
moisture.
yeah,
the fact that we get moss in 360-degree circles around things because
Yeah.
nothing light.
right. Like you can't choose north on a tree because everywhere is north in the Pacific Northwest.
I've never been to the Pacific Northwest, but like it sounds like a lot of it is wet.
Yes.
Very
A lot
Yeah.
of her descriptions can relate to wetness.
damp heart of pine and oak, right? Lichen.
Loamy soil.
I don't know if it's just me, but I thought of Forks, Washington for some reason.
Very nice. It's
Oh,
a Twilight
but
piece.
Have
definitely.
you been reading
Mhm.
Twilight? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm reading Throne of Glass actually right now, but the dampness kind of was like, oh, great. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
We went
absolutely.
to Forks. The first year we were here, we schlepped all the way out to Forks. It was such a disappointment. It was like even more sad and pathetic than in the movies.
That's funny. But what's
Fact.
interesting about it is that even though it's definitely set there because you know that, this also reminds me of any number of
Yeah,
forested places that I have hiked about in Wisconsin too. You know, like there's the Arboretum in Madison, and there were some that we did during the COVID years. We did some hiking in other parks around.
mhm,
Like Governor Dodge.
Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. Thank you
Yeah.
for saying it. Yes, that is
That's-
exactly the one.
That's
yeah.
one of
So
my
again, the malleability of a flash piece. And the final thing
Right.
that I really want to get into then, let's merge them together, is sensory detail along with things like imagery or, rhetorical devices. Like, so the metaphor, simile, imagery, all of that is happening through sensory detail as well. What are your favorites? Let's do the highlights.
For me, it's the
The
ribbons of dusk in my hair. The
That was
idea,
I
like I see it as, like the last leaves in a tree as the sun's going down,
I mean,
on
mostly
a
because
day.
you're missing having hair, but go ahead.
No, I'm not. Trust me, it's too hot. But no, I think for me, it's the idea that, that carries so much meaning, not just like that the day's ending and that the season's ending, but that also this entity is also aware that it's ending and that things don't last forever. So there's
Yeah.
just a lot carried to me on that one little phrase.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
like
like the
shy and
lichens dwelling.
wondrous. Okay.
Yes.
For me, it's the play on word. It's the hours. It's the husk of hairs.
Yeah, so alliteration is something that's attractive for sure. And those are not just alliteration, but also assonance, right? Because there's a lot of vowel connection that's happening in there.
It's
And
almost
also-
overwhelming with
Yes, it's fecund, right? Ooh, I just came up with that word. I mean,
Ooh.
it's the first time I've used this word to describe it, but right? And so I would say what you're
Mhm.
saying, Sarah, with Randall, not only is that things end, but when they end, they turn into something else and it doesn't end, right? There's a circular abundance to it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I found this and was just immediately in love. So I love that when we do these, it actually forces me to go out and do a bunch of flash reading so I get something I'm willing to use in here. And I just want to point out the reason that so often this stuff is fairly vanilla as far as it comes to violence and stuff is I use them again at the library with my teenagers. So do understand that I'm usually using teenage appropriate things, although not in the next one. They get a different one on Monday because the next one's not appropriate, but I think it's wonderful for us. Okay, yay.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Since it is so circular, do you think that that could have been written as one sentence?
I think there would be a way to play with this that you could make it one of those one sentence, like breathless pieces. Here, I love that it's not, and that she uses partial sentences instead, because it's almost like pointing our attention, like, and then this, and then this, and then, you know.
Sure.
Although, I mean, it'd be, so maybe you do what you're about to write in one sentence, because I could really see where that would work too. Yeah. Okay. So
don't.
I failed at writing a short prompt. So here's our long prompt.
Oh my God, it is long.
It's super long, but I'm going to talk us through it because what happens is I'm talking a lot in this one. But I was so in love with the way that Faith Ellington made this environment. Like it's an environment that the first person is as comfortable or more comfortable than in her own skin, right? It's out here in the Pacific Northwest rainforest is how I see it. Ask yourself where you are most yourself. Then I give you some options, which none of which will probably match any of you except for reading a book. Gambling in Vegas, sunning on a beach, hiking in a rainforest. I don't know, riding a horse, right? That's mine was all when I wrote on this with other people, it was down at the stables. Place yourself there, wherever this place is, and just pick one. I mean, you don't have to be most yourself. There's no extreme necessary. And take yourself and what matters to you through a transition. Is it a new week, a new home, a new relationship, or a new year? And so all those I offered you were news, but they could be endings too, right? Could it be the end of a relationship? Could it be moving away? Could it, you know? So allow the very environment of your happy place to inhabit your body. And write about this place, hinting at what is most important in the writing that you're trying to do. So, you know, in this case, she's trying to talk about change, New Year's, the fact that New Year's are entirely unimportant because we're always continually, you know, reforming and growing, and abundance, right? Fecundity. This could be an essay about now. This could be something from your school days. It could be a moment in your life that is a pivot or an apex. You know, I could just as easily take this and write about when that first husband divorced me and, you know, put it into some kind of physical environment, and that would work for me. Okay, so you are taking an environment that is a happy place. You're taking it through a transition, and you're going to write about what happens. That's the short version of this prompt. Questions, ideas? Do you have a place in mind?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Talking of gambling, apparently the Mirage has to give away 1.6 million by next week because they're shutting down, and by law you have to give out a certain percentage. So if anyone wants to gamble, get to Vegas by the end of the next week, and
Get to Vegas now.
they're just letting all those slot machines come spit out money.
Okay, everybody's gone writing, so I'm going to start the timer. On your marks, get set, right. You have about a minute left. Okay, I gave you extra time. So please come back and tell me how it went. One of us named me was writing an email.
I jumped when you told us we had a minute left.
Oh, wow, you were
Oh,
that deep
same,
in it?
same.
Yeah.
Yes, same.
I was like, okay.
6 minutes isn't very long. And I threw you all on mute because I do that so we can be quiet. So if you aren't expecting to be on mute, then unmute yourself. Yeah, great. Anything you want to comment on the experience? Like, was this good to write about? How could I have made the prompt better? Except for shorter, we all know that.
Mine, if I were to edit it, needs to have the sentences rearranged. But otherwise, that was a great prompt.
Awesome. Okay.
It took me about 30 seconds to actually figure out what I was going to write about. And then once I got it, it was like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Awesome.
So
Well, do we want to try to make it through everybody's? It'll be tough because there's so many of us, but if we crank through, we could do it for both of them. You interested?
Yep.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, who's
Do it.
first?
I'll go.
Thanks, Randall.
My mind fills with thoughts of home, of a soft place I have never seen or encountered for more than the length of a single breath. A place where I sigh contentedly, the smell of soft blankets, softer hair, and a ceiling lit with afternoon sunlight that seeks in vain to disturb my intermittent slumber in their arms. I blink and it's gone. I carry the image in my back pocket and ponder the absurdity of doing so, like drawing the comfort of a teddy bear from an active landmine. I hug it close, convincing myself that there is love hidden somewhere in the depths of this cold, unyielding shell. How long can I pirouette the precipice before I fall? My Liebestode continues, delayed, though I could simply give up and watch the sunset alone.
What did we love?
Yep, the teddy bear.
the teddy bear. Yeah.
And pictures in the back pocket that you carry,
Mhm.
because we've all got that with us.
Yeah. And the place I've never seen. That was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not longer than a breath.
Mhm.
There's a German word, right, for a longing for a home-like place that we've never seen and don't know, but we know exists somehow. Am I right?
Is there? I love it. I want to know what it is.
Okay, I'll Google it while we're on the next one. I'll put it down.
Okay.
Randall,
Because
that
my favorite French word is a word like that. The French have a word for like day, and then they have a word for like all day long, which is like a little different, right? And I love that.
Oh.
Or a Hugh or something.
Hmm?
It's Hygde.
Oh, Hygge, like who? No, that, and it's Danish. It's
That's
Yeah.
like Swedish, like
Yeah.
Huga.
Huga. Yeah, that's like comfy, cozy kind of feeling.
but you know that one. The German one is you're longing for something that haven't had before, but
that you don't know.
I
you
don't know
think
that
you know.
word,
Yeah.
but Huga seems pretty close. So
Randall, I love that your characters do have this kind of longing, and I love that I heard the gender neutral pronoun in there, and that was particularly attractive to me because it opened up the possibilities of who these people are, or at least could be, to the person that was the main narrator, protagonist. Awesome. Okay, we're moving fast. Who's next?
I can go next.
Okay.
I sit on the dingy sofa at Beth's house. It's tired. I'm tired. We spent 2 hours on homework. Her mom clatters in the background, cooking what will be a lackluster dinner for us. Beth is babbling away at the barbecue we've planned for tomorrow on La Bomo. I drown her out. Another barbecue where I'll be alone in a crowd. But still, it's better than being home, just like her mom's shitty dinner will be better than being home. So I sit and I put up with it. A knock on the door and 3 guys come in, Alan, Keith, and Abba. I've met them before, familiar friends from the yeshiva across the way. I've known Alan and Keith for years, since the London days, and the newbie American has a silly name called Abba, which is dad. Another guy comes in. I've never met him before. No one has. He's a friend of Keith's. He has beer bottle glasses covering half his face. I sit up straighter, say hello. He also has a funny name, and we talk. And I pull the cushion towards me to protect me against the feelings inside of me. But it's not ugly anymore. I'm not ugly anymore or alone.
Oh,
Thank you.
Favorite parts.
that last sentence.
yeah.
Yeah.
But also the shitty dinner. Like, oh yeah.
Mom's on that book. Yeah.
Like contingent reality, that's so cool. I think we all probably have a friend like that. And I think we've all had a place like that, you know.
A home that wasn't our home, but it was a home.
Yeah. That didn't feel like home. And yeah, but it was better.
Yeah.
The beer bottle glasses is better than the beer buckle glasses, I heard. So that was awesome. Particularly liked the tired sofa and the tired narrator, that they were both tired.
His glasses were so awful. It didn't take long for me to convince him to get decent ones.
I thought of Coke bottle glasses, not so much beer bottle glasses, but like Coke bottle ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
In
The
Israel,
idea.
Yeah.
once you can reach the counter, you can drink in Israel. So, yeah. At least you could in 87. Let's put it that way.
Nicely done, Elisa. Anybody have anything else before we hop on to the next one? Okay, who's next?
Oh,
Thanks, Sarah.
Dragons and crosses settle in pictures, figurines, and the couch that holds everything that matters. 14 years old, hives constantly covering my body while I try not to scratch my skin off every day. But here, now, she's on my left, her warm arm resting on the back of my neck as I lean into her. He's on my right, a big guy, big hands, didn't wear overalls, but should have. I had previously made the mistake of sharing the only place I was ticklish was right above my knees. So he reached just a bit because we were so close and grasped my knee, causing a breathless laughing squeal. No one else was around, no radio playing the Bee Gees, no Journey, no Monty Python that made no sense to me, no hives, just the 3 of us. The world and its demons locked out. Warmness like the sun radiated from the outside in. It was the last time I ever felt like that.
Wow.
It was such a time. Like you captured it.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I loved he didn't wear overalls, but he should have. The whole piece was full of what wasn't,
Yeah.
you know, like Sue said, the no list.
Yeah.
All the things that weren't the sounds. I loved how there was a tangible list and yet there
Mhm.
wasn't sound, you know? Demons locked out. I agree, Sue. That was great.
Mhm.
Yeah, so definitely if you keep working on that one, also lean into this idea, like ask yourself why when you were making this list, you were describing all the things that weren't. Like that's such a cool move that I feel like the theme of what's happening in your piece is based on, you
Right.
know, here's what
Mhm.
isn't, and it's full of what is, but it isn't.
Okay.
Love it. Really love it. Well done. Anything else for Sarah? Onward ho. Who's next?
I'll go.
Okay. Thanks, Colleen.
I think if I were to edit, I could do a better job capturing the transition,
Did you
the
did you
time
just
change.
say that it was brilliant? Is that what I heard? I heard it's
That's what
brilliant.
you heard.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
brilliant. Okay. From my counter in the kitchen, I see a space I no longer inhabit. The Moody Blues plays in my head. Oh, I'll give my life so lively to my gentle lady. Give it freely and completely. It is the smell of the yeast and the feeling of the smooth, heavy dough under my hands as I knead. In my mind's eye, you are there in the other room. I am young and old at once as I push the dough flat to shape the loaves. Competent, practiced hands moving to the music only I can hear. The spaces meld as I turn the loaves into the pan. I am here and there at once in my heart, just as you are.
Oh, my heart.
That's
That was beautiful. What did we love?
everything.
That's listen, people, my job is to say specificity, please. We loved everything, and especially we loved, for example, I loved the heavy in the dough. You know you've gotten the dough right if it's velvety, but also heavy.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
I was trying for some specificity there because I wanted to capture in the same way that Faith captured some specific things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna
And
make me need to go
Bud
get my
of the
KitchenAid
dough.
out.
What's that?
So you're gonna make me need to go get my KitchenAid out.
oh yeah,
Just
inevitable,
like Hannah,
Sarah.
So different. Totally
Start planning
different
for
by
it now.
That thud of the dough that you put in there, like I could hear it just hit the counter, and I was like, "Yep, this is the safe, comfy spot."
But also there's such a sense of time with it because the hands are competent on the dough, given the possibility that they weren't always, that this has become a thing in this comfortable place, and the one that used to be through, like she could look through and see somebody else. This is over time. And maybe the first time she needed in that place, she wasn't as competent or something. I felt like that was underlining this, that you were offering a trajectory of time.
A span, yeah.
Anything else?
Your singing was amazing.
very brave.
Recorded forever on YouTube.
Right? Well, you can't. I'm
Colleen's
going to write
thank
music. You have to be able to hear it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I also am going to say that given the incredibly, ones and twos of views that these videos get, you might go viral.
Okay.
I think the most views a video's ever had is like 14. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. Because I don't advertise it. It's not
12
like
of them are
monetized or
mine.
anything.
But
Are
no.
they? That's awesome.
I like the need. Suzanne
The
did
need.
too. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That was fantastic. We loved it. Who's next?
I can
I'll
go.
go. Oh, you
Oh,
go,
well,
Ellen.
Jesse, you can go
Take it.
first, and then I'll go. Go
It
ahead.
looks like it's all M and then Jesse. I saw the way that played out on screen.
Okay. The smell of hay permeates the air. Most of the time, manure isn't a pleasant smell, but horse manure is. The sound of whinnies and knickers from the 4,000-pound puppies. The pine smell of fresh bedding, the continuous chomping sound of grain between teeth. The calming wood smell of pine throughout the barn. Birds up in the rafters, the thud of bridles being hung up on rungs. Dust covers the walkway. This is my happy place. Could it be yours? Yeah.
I'm typing. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Every day.
That was perfect and beautiful. That was. I wanted to be the person who could be there all the time, and I was prevented. So it could have been my happy. It could have, like, that was so resonant to me. Yes, it could have been, and I wasn't allowed to make it mine. But you captured it perfectly. That was perfect.
And a lot of
And you're right
sensory
about the smell.
details. Yeah.
I can't stand
But-
cow manure, but horse manure is like
But
that's
horses,
no.
it's different. It's warm in a way that is, yeah.
Yeah.
I love
100%
the
smells
smell of
better.
everything related to a horse.
I think my favorite line that I wrote was the 4,000-pound puppies or overgrown puppies.
Yeah.
I confess, I was like, draft horses? Because like my draft cross is
Budweiser.
1,200 pounds. So
Well, mine's a Persian mix, so he's
Yeah,
pretty. He
he's
looks like a
huge.
Clydesdale almost. So
Yeah. Mine's a Clydesdale mix.
Fun.
That's awesome. And I just want to say, by the way, that I wrote to this one when I was doing this with the other people, and I wrote about hay. I wrote about the sound of eating. I wrote about the fact that the manure smelled good. I just want to say we wrote the same piece.
Funny.
So
yeah,
you had
well, I
me.
didn't mean to do that, but
You had me at horse manure.
Yeah, I figured
The
you would.
hay, like
Mm.
even just when you said the hay, I could already smell it. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a sensory memory for me.
Yeah.
Poking you.
That's awesome. Really great, Em. Anything else for Em? That was wonderful.
You like covered the whole location, like birds in the rafters,
Mm-hmm.
poop on the ground. I mean, like,
And the dust.
yeah,
It is not a barn if there isn't dust.
yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. Great. Okay, Jesse. Yeah, and Mike, please, because you're a little hard to hear without it. Yeah, waiting.
Oh, sorry, is it my turn?
Much better.
How's that electric phone?
Oh,
Gotcha.
okay. Yeah, I think there's a short in my cord to this already somehow. So she doesn't like movement. So sorry.
Or were you going to interpretively dance your story?
Good. It's very action based, so I could just act it out.
Okay.
Okay. Wind whips through my hair like fingers combing through the fickle strands of undecided length and color. Heat melts into the chill of fall, then the absolute dreadful cold of winter before reclaiming its seat in the air through spring and summer. And I breeze through them all, with the extra warmth pressed against my ear or holding my hand as we move. Through parks, making laps around circlets of dew crowning the grass, around ponds with frogs and cicadas filling the laugh track to our studio audience. Winding through narrow streets, stopping only to comment on the way cherry blossoms frame the shrine or how the gutters really are too pretty to carry such waste. And I look over to you, check your face for the blush of exertion, or tap the screen of my phone to check that you're still with me. And we keep walking, together, always.
Oh.
You're in Japan and somebody is there with you on the phone and the warmth of it.
Yeah.
Doing
Also,
my best.
kudos to Suzanne for understanding everything I don't understand. Well done.
My favorite line was the gutters that are too beautiful for the waste.
Yes.
Gutters really are pretty. Well made.
And you mean the gutters sort of on buildings, right? Not street gutters.
No, definitely street gutters. These, I mean, those are referencing more the ones in Japan because like you walk down the road and I don't know, it's built different, you know, it's a lot of stonework, really pretty like grates, and sometimes it goes right down the middle of the road. Sometimes it's lining the two sides, you know, it's just very cute. It's very aesthetic. Pinterest
Of
would love
course.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me think of like the Roman, or you know, in Israel, Jerusalem, with the gutters going down the middle of the road, or the storm drains. But those are filthy and disgusting. So I thought you meant like the house gutters.
Well, they are also very cute. Yeah. I mean, it
I've
can go
never
any
been
way
to
you want to
Japan,
see it.
so
Yeah.
We get to interact with your piece.
Yeah.
Also loved the undecided length and color of the hair. That was such a detail. You could just, there's such a freedom to that in the wind. Like, and all the F alliteration that happened in that section was awesome. Anything else?
I'm still waiting for the dance.
Oh, yeah, sure. There's a bee dancing around me right now, so I'm gonna stay still, but okay, we'll do it later.
That could be a story.
We have 3 people who haven't read. They're all on mute. Make some kind of physical movement if you think you want to read. Okay, Suze wants to read. Oh, party. How'd that happen? Oh my God, it looks so real.
Oh, Mac has some fun things. So you have to be on a Mac computer. You can't be on a Windows. I'm sorry. I thought the mountain would have swallowed me up to keep me safe in its belly and warmed by the lava that flowed within. And it did. But like all things can't stay asleep forever, it slowly pushed me back up to let the sun warm my face and be a blanket of happiness. I breathed out meadows of wildflowers to dot the mountainside and stretched far enough to make a trail that would allow the trek to be just a little bit easier. I only like to lay on the west side so I could watch the sun go to bed each night rather than watching it wake up. Another inch joined me, and I thought a mountain range would be too much, too fast. The fault lines would ruin the valley below, but it didn't. The mountains expanded, and instead of watching the setting sun alone, now we can watch the stars and make up stories of them all. And the new mountains have brought their own beauty to the world, one with a waterfall, one with beautiful rock fixtures, and another one draped with lichen and mushrooms to give the frogs a comfortable place to have a bubbling stream.
It was so lovely.
So much transformation.
I loved the little frogs at the end.
Yes.
Buffing stream. Look up buffing.
It
Bubbling.
was, yeah, I heard bubbling.
Oh, bubbling. Okay. Closed captions.
Wait,
don't know.
I heard bubbling. I heard something right.
You did.
I can't believe it. So it felt like a creation piece that this world was being made, and that was particularly fun. Like, I feel like you should submit to your own journal. Or another one, because of course you can't submit to your own. Yeah.
Seems
breathe.
unfair.
I put right, breathed out meadows of wildflowers, and I could just see that, like the breath, and then the magic of the wildflowers emerging. That was my favorite moment. Oh, except for I also really, okay, there were a lot of favorite moments. Also really liked like all things can't stay asleep forever. That was amazing. Very inspiring. Anything else?
I liked the lava at the beginning.
I did too. Yeah, good point. Awesome. Okay, so we're down to Fernanda and Kevin. Do either of you want to read?
I'll go.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right. Inside a pink tent with doors that drape into the living room floor, there sit 3. It'll be years until our fourth guest joins. Inside these cotton walls, our secrets are hidden and our fears are tucked away. Inside these walls, we're shielded against slamming doors, screaming voices, and the monsters that live outside our cotton pink barricades. One day we'll leave these walls and preserve our fragile innocence into our pink capsule.
Ooh, kind of mysterious and great. What do we love?
I love being inside the walls. I felt shielded and safe.
It reminded me of the yellow, what's it called? The yellow wallpaper.
Mm.
But
Oh,
there,
good.
there it's creepy, but here it was the opposite. It was, you know, hiding into safe spaces.
Hmm.
I got a total like, and forgive me for this, just because, yeah, I got a total sort of vagina birth vibe out of it. You know, the
There's a lot of pink.
shaded against the world, and one day we'll leave these walls, and but also just symbolically, I really loved that there were the monsters that live outside, and this was a safe place, and that there was a feeling. This is my own contingent reality of like siblings or something, because a fourth one was coming, you know. So just a feeling of having survived and experienced together by making their own space. I hope that was
The
close.
slamming door I thought was really poignant. That was an interesting, that was sort of one of the monsters was powerful, I thought.
Yeah. It was just enough of a hint for us to understand what was going on, right? Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I would have never thought
Thank
this
you.
was about childbirth. I am so, like, would have never, we just felt of it as a safe place.
Oh, no, it is. I took it there. That was
Oh,
all me.
okay.
I mean, Fernanda, you weren't writing about childbirth, were you?
No, not childbirth. No,
Not literally.
no, not literally. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was talking about my sisters.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that there was a real figurative feel to that you could read it that way, like metaphorically. And then you were birthed into the world from this family home, you know, because of the color choices and stuff, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I read all day, every day. My apologies. Okay, Kevin, do you want to read what you got, or you, I mean, no obligation, but if you want, you're in.
Um, Feeding fireflies from the jam jar, ensuring that there's air while the valedictorian achieves cultural milestones in a champagne-colored Ford Taurus with a "These colors don't run" bumper sticker on its tail. Being nook and cranny on a roller coaster with stomach drops greater than -9.8 meters per second. Terminal illumination indicates that the day is done, but the silver screen feature resumes.
That's
Please
a
read it
lot.
one more time. It was short enough that we can
Yeah.
do it again. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's so
Yeah.
complex. I want to have it.
Mhm.
Feeding fireflies from the jam jar, ensuring there's air while the valedictorian achieves cultural milestones in a champagne-colored Ford Taurus with a faded "These colors don't run" bumper sticker on its tail. Being nook and cranny on a roller coaster with stomach drops greater than -9.8 meters per second. Terminal illumination indicates the day is done, but the silver screen feature resumes.
That was
Oh,
brilliant.
Oh,
I'm curious about the repetition of per second. Because I think repetition is always kind of on purpose. And so
Yeah,
I'm
it's
curious.
just the formula for gravity. It's -9.8 m over second over second.
Gotcha.
That was
but it
great.
makes it even more powerful in a short piece like this, that formula, I think.
like that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
does. And that little piece of
But
repetition makes you pause and think about gravity. Is that what you're saying, Colleen?
Yes, like I get it. It's just the formula. It's how you describe what's happening. But also in the same way, it by stacking it, like I could see both the words stacking and I could see the drop of the
Mhm.
roller coaster happening for second, and we're going down. You know, like that was it was very effective for me. I understand it's just how it's done, but it was effective.
It reminded me of the time that I rode the Superman coaster at Six Flags, because that 90-foot drop at the beginning is awful. So that's all I could think of the entire time. So
Yeah, I'm there with you, Em, and Colleen, same thing. Like I was having per second, even though
Mhm.
I was required to have a Bachelor of Science degree and I knew it was the formula for gravity, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that was just how you describe it, but that it still thought it really worked well.
And the second time through, I really picked up on that faded, these colors don't run. So it wasn't like a new car for graduation, though it could have possibly been a new to someone car for the valedictorian or not. Or maybe formerly valedictorian and now later in their life. Like there's all kinds of things that you could sit back and contemplate with this, which is my favorite kind of short writing, right? A poem without the line breaks. Anything else?
I loved the fireflies. That was such a fixture of my younger summers. Catching fireflies in jars. I never kept them long enough to feed them, but still.
I love the cultural of the valedictorian because it's just, you know, I feel like that's a metaphor to, you know, are we getting the right people in the right places?
Mm.
And also
Mhm.
not growing up with any of this. It was just that for me was the best line.
It was brilliant. Oh, it's too long. The next thing is good job. Okay. So hold on. I have to find where this guy. Here's the beginning of what we're going to next, or not, because I didn't cut enough out. Okay, we'll do this. Okay. Beginning, salt ocean, and then here's the next part. Francine Witty, I don't actually know how to say her name, is so cool. I really like her because she published me in Fojo. But Milk Candy Reviews, is one of the upper tier Flash publication places, kind of like publishing in Smoke Long or something like that. And this one is not good for my teenagers at the library group, but it's great for us. So does anybody want to read Large Bird?
I'll read it.
Thank you. Thank you, Randall.
Crash of foam against the jetty, and you feel like your heart has been swallowed again. Everything craggy around you, the rocks, of course, but also love. You came here on vacation to lose yourself for a week. You watched the birds, almost too large, you thought, lugging themselves in the humid air and finally pressed down from the sky. One was trying to warn you. Instead, you lapped around in the cooling blue, laid yourself out on the beach like a sheet of white paper, and later you went the hotel bar with its drinks all pink and ice cube with umbrellas too small for the rainstorm of the stranger 3 stools down. How his eyes themselves were a cooling blue and looked at you, then down to his finger tracing the saltless rim of a margarita, the same tracing motion he would later use on you, on your stomach, your thighs, and into your own deep salt ocean. And you fell in love so hard, so jetty crashed that even after he checked out cold without even a text, you couldn't answer this bird who knows more about love than you ever have and was trying so hard to warn you. It fought its own natural need to be in the sky. And when the bird gives up, sees you are the lostest of causes, he skitters away, plops up on the jetty, and hefts himself upward till he becomes cloud and unspoken fleck of rain and anything else that belongs in the sky. You watch him get smaller and smaller, finally fading like a warning, like a wrong love beginning to die.
So tell me, what are some things that happen in here that are just so cool?
I like umbrellas too small for the rainstorm of the stranger.
Yeah, I do too.
There's also a lot of moisture in it. Again,
Yeah,
Yeah. Different moisture though, right? They're
yeah.
yeah.
different.
Oh, sorry, Elisa. She's probably gone already.
I
Oh, there you.
can't take the pain of you know, I'm
Yeah.
just away from crying, so
Oh, I'm
I don't know.
sorry.
It's okay. All right.
Feel
I'll talk
better.
to you. Bye.
Bye. I hate when people hurt. Okay. What do you think of circling? And what I mean is, obviously she mentioned circling, but what different kinds of circling do you see happening in this piece?
The repetition of the word jetty.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
The
think
bird up and the bird down.
Mm-hmm.
Even her situation is circled,
Mm-hmm.
possibly. You know,
Yeah, she goes from beginning this vacation to ending it in the exact same place, right? For
right.
herself,
Yeah. Yeah.
sort of, or almost worse. You've got cooling blue of the ocean, cooling blue of his eyes. You've got the saltless rim of the margarita, but the own deep salt ocean. So like there's sort of oh, what did they call that in Only Murders in the Building? Callbacks. There's all these callbacks in this tiny little piece. This is about 1,500 words. And no, it's not. I'm lying to you. It can't be. It's like 1,500 characters.
Maybe.
Yeah. I can tell you actually how many words it is really easily if I just go like this. 275 words. That feels so much better. So in 275 words, we continuously get callbacks, which, is something that could happen in a novel or, a musical, but here it's happening just from 10 words earlier. Yet it doesn't feel like it's too much to me. I got nodding, so probably not for you too. Tell me what you think of lastest of causes.
the cause is too far gone, maybe. 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't think lostest is a word, but
right.
it
That's what
makes
I'm asking you to think about. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's so far gone you can't reach it at that point.
right. There isn't even a word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And then finally, tell me about the bird. What's going on with the bird?
Love that she saw the bird as trying to warn her.
Mm-hmm.
it could almost be written from the bird's point of view.
Oh, yeah, just about.
It's not about the bird, but they'll lose yourself for a week, and then like at the end, she basically lost something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
She's the lostest of causes. Yeah, lots of losing. Nice. And in the end, what does the bird do?
Flies away.
Yeah. So perhaps also, I don't know, an inner voice, like the one that tells you, I really want to kiss this person and it's such a bad idea and I'm going to do it anyway, that little bird. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I can see it that way. I can see it a lot of ways. What I love the most about this is the choice to write it in the second person, though, of course, with the you. And so I want us to experiment with this. And here's the prompt I have for us. And it's shorter than the other one, but still too long. So see how Francine Whitty uses the second person point of view, you, to ask readers to step into the place of the protagonist, to maybe even be the protagonist. So what happens when you write your experiences, and this can be your character's experiences always, try taking an experience you're considering using from your life for a book. So, okay, once again,
Can I
typos.
reuse?
You can
Okay.
reuse absolutely and write in the U instead of what you wrote in. But also, this is what I was trying to say is basically, if you have a book and a character, grab that one. If you want to do something from your own life, grab that one. Or any kind of thing that you're writing and use you as the protagonist. I just want you to take something you've already had in mind that you're writing and switch that narrative point of view to the second person. And the reason I'm doing this with you is to ask you to be thinking about what happens when you change a narrative viewpoint in something you're already working on, and how valuable that can be, even if you only do it for a paragraph or two, to revisualize and get a new perspective on what you're writing. Does this seem doable? Have something to write? Justice giving me that maybe. Okay, you feel ready?
Mhm.
On your marks, get set, right. You have just over a minute left. All right, try to wrap things up and head back in. I hope it went well. Anybody want to pass on how you did? And I muted you all again because I'm just a control freak like that.
It went okay. It went okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Very good. Some nods, some yeahs. I feel like since you jumped in and said it went okay, do you want to be the person who kicks us off?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll do it.
Thank you.
Okay. Sundays are for cleaning. You decided this so long ago that you have to trace your way through the calendar to find the last time you marked a congregation, slotted 9 to 12:30, because good people go to both Sunday school and the main service. You let water from the sink baptize your tired hands, and when you pull them from the dishes, maybe you find that they're dirtier than before. So you wash them alongside the wine glasses and the plates. You run through the bevy of chores, shoes wiped clean, floors mopped, laundry folded like hands in prayer, before your family gets home. And you run through your accomplishments like verses they've all heard before sitting down to eat. And you're so fucking hungry that your stomach acid eats at you like bleach in the bathtub. But you wait for your father to finish saying grace, eyes open, staring at the grain of the table, because good people are thankful for what they have.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that went okay.
Yeah.
We all were jumping on a lot of the same things. What do y'all want to share with her?
The bleach in the bathtub. Like I could feel that on my skin and I was like, this is really painful. But I can get that feeling, and like when bleach goes through your nostrils, it's awful. And that's all I could get was that feeling of bleach in your nostrils. It's great.
And yet good people are thankful for what they have, right, Suze?
The good people stuff was, yes. It's like the cleaning is a penance, almost, imposed while others are I assume, at church. But yes, so fucking hungry.
Right?
That was, yeah, and hands being dirtier than before after you've done the dishes.
Yeah, and that cleaning must be a church. Like if I were trying to go big symbol with it, the baptism of the water, and yet dirtier even after, like you're saying, Colleen. Yeah. Who wants to add to that amazingness? That was Jessie. If I could sing, I would start singing Take Me to Church, but I can't sing.
You're up, Colleen. No.
All right. I don't know. Take Me to Church, though. Not off the top of my head. I can't. I have not had that one playing in my head for a while. So, all right. But I will read. Okay. You stand next to the wall with the door to your room closed and gaze into the mirror on the back of the door. The corner of the room where the raven shadow demon sits at night is behind you. The brave light of day has banished the dark shape, and you think perhaps You have imagined it. In the mirror, the corner is empty, just walls. You take in the room in the reflection, nothing but the mundane four walls you've been trapped in for years. You touch the cuffs of the purple wool sweater and tug at the bottom. The color makes your eyes a bit purple too, and though you imagine it is a heavy cloak swirling around you, the hood fallen back, no wind stirs your hair. There is no magic here.
Oh,
Mm.
what else do we love?
I am working on it.
Trapped in these walls for years. I'm like, yep. It kind of felt like Room, almost. It kind of felt like the movie in the book Room for some reason. Just trapped in a room for years. I was like, is this what kidnapping feels like? But yeah.
But also the lovely idea that you're trapped in just this world that doesn't have magic,
Right.
you know, signified by the room, but even more.
I think these pieces have more like they hit people more if you use the word you than like I. And it brings up emotions, is what I'm feeling, what I'm noticing with these pieces.
Yeah, very much. And briefly, why? Why does using you? And because it also for a long time was sort of unpopular and you shouldn't do it. And I encourage people in 529 not to do it because in a whole short story, it can get a little relentless. But in Flash, it can be brilliant. So why? Why does it work in Flash?
Well,
What does
it directly invites you to completely be contingent, like brought into a contingent reality. So
yeah, it completely says, come in, this is you, try this on. Yeah,
Better or worse.
Right. Try on this Flash for size, right? Brilliant. I'm loving the brilliance. Being recorded. Can't say y'all my favorites. Who's
Carrie,
next?
because hopefully someone else has something funny after me.
Yeah, because yours is sad.
I'll let you say. You sit in a recliner that you've barely moved from in months and are awakened from the absence of mind and breath with loud pounding at the door. You try to stand up, but your legs won't hold you. Sliding to the floor, you see 3 to 4 police outside your window, but you cannot motion to them. You cannot move. Within minutes, the EMS come rushing towards you. Do you want us to put you back in bed, they ask. Normally you'd say yes, but a quiet voice in your head says no. Bumping along in the rescue vehicle, you hear the questions, who's the president, what's your name? But you can't answer. You might as well still be asleep. When the ride comes to a halting stop, so does your heart, just for a moment. A cacophony of personnel dulls your brain even more as they do what they do. Insisting to leave 24 hours to get more comfort from your furry caretakers and sterile scrubs. You are later told if you hadn't gone to the hospital when you did, you'd be dead within 24 hours. Your life changes, what's left of it. For once you lived through an unintentional death to rise to an intentional life.
Oh, that last line. Was that the last line? Because I was so excited. Sorry. That is beautiful. Okay, what do we love?
Everything.
Right. Being so trapped in that body, like I could feel it, like it built really, like you were trapped in the chair and then trapped in the body and then, trapped in the sleep, it was very trapped.
A very conscious of being trapped, which possibly is Sue's trapped and wanting life, like the backwards perspective of saying you know, because a different mindset would have let you stay trapped and then you'd be gone, right? I mean, your character would be, but also you, because most of us know you well enough to know, right? Yeah. Ooh, sleep paralysis. Oh my God. Submit to snoozing. Write a sleep paralysis one. This is awesome. Sorry. I just had forgotten sleep paralysis even existed as a thing. That's really fantastic. Yeah. What else? Anything else that we just loved? I kind of want to know how they ended up there. I'll say the character because that's the way we're supposed to critique. Did the character call EMS and the police? So somebody
No, you remember
them.
how I got a babysitting plan where if I don't make contact with someone within a certain period, they call a wellness check. And actually several people ended up getting involved with it, including Miss Suzanne. And yeah, and now my oxygen, I'm at like 98 right now.
What?
I don't have oxygen on for this happened 3.5 weeks ago, and I have not worn oxygen since.
Wow.
And I'm not on hospice, I'm not on drugs, I'm doing palliative care, PT.
What?
Like,
I mean, that's fantastic. And I know firsthand that your brain can't decide it all, but it's sure deciding a lot for you, isn't it? It's fantastic. So exciting. And what a last sentence. Not only like great things in your life, but wow, what a last sentence. That's the way to describe it.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, even like a title to something, that last sentence, maybe a chapter of a memoir, maybe the memoir itself. I don't know. Very exciting. Thank you. And thanks for sharing that with us too. All right. Who's next?
I can go next.
Thanks, Em.
You feel lost. Hospital beds are something you're accustomed to at this point. You're used to the dull, aching pain and the smell of anesthesia seeping through your body. You're used to the shitty food and watery steamed vegetables. You're used to being poked and prodded with tubes and wires running this way and that. You're used to the arrogant Massachusetts doctor who minimizes your pain. You're used to sleepless nights in an unfamiliar bed. You are used to the dark circles under your eyes. You're used to shutting down, giving up, and you're tired, grumpy, bitchy even. You just want to go home, but you can't, no matter how much you want to.
Love the repetition that seems to be actually enacting the experience that the person's having in this.
I can totally understand it.
Sarah's like, I've been that person.
Yep.
Yeah. That smell of anesthesia seeping through your body,
that's the part that nauseates me and makes me vomit.
It makes me
the gas
smell like an old lady, and I don't like smelling like an old lady.
Who does?
It's funny. It's such a permeable smell, though. Like it was in the idea that
Kevin
it's seeping
does.
through the body. So that was really, really well written.
Yeah. Yeah. And synesthesia, right?
Yeah, anesthesia.
Yeah.
No, but also synesthesia. You're saying a smell is doing this action that is sort of physical,
right.
that it can't do, like it can get into your lungs, but then it's not the smell any longer, but it is because you use synesthesia about your anesthesia.
Cool.
Which now is making me think of the source of the word anesthesia. Nice. Love it. Anything else? I just don't want to keep us for the rest of our lives. Really nicely done, Em.
Thank you.
I can't believe that I'm wrapped up in a blanket because it's 90 something degrees outside and it's freezing in my house.
It's like 100 here. I've got a hoodie on and
Yeah. Because air, right?
Yeah.
Because air.
Oh, Fernanda's coming back. There we go. I thought she was frozen.
Oh, shoot, twice.
All right, who's
Yes, read
next?
twice, right?
I can go next.
Thanks, Suze.
You let your father pick you up from the trunk, tears streaming from your face as blood and oxygen rush back into your limbs. The ropes fall away and you smell Zephyr and aftershave. You can't think straight and you're trying to remember what happened. Why were you in a trunk? Were you next? You were. You realize as the tattoo that branded you was burned into your arm. The same mark as all the other girls that you'd seen on TV, the missing posters, the milk cartons. You knew you were next, but yet your father found you before you were draped over a park bench, a bush, a seat at the bus station. You're floating, but not really, because your back meets the paramedic's gurney and they keep asking you so many things. What day is it? What do you remember? Are you okay? Honey, can you just look here at the light? But your gaze drifts over their shoulders to the sunset because you weren't supposed to meet her after school. I mean, it's still after school, but is she waiting for you still? You ignore the pokes and prods of the needle that comes dangerously close to your skin, but you can't let it pierce you. What if they're the ones? What if they're all false hope? What if it's
Oh. I'm editing a paranormal horror book right now, so thanks for putting me right back in the hallways of that hospital. I mean, I know it wasn't a hospital, but it's still, I'm terrified. All right, what did we love other than being scared on a Saturday midday?
Better
so?
Saturday midday than Saturday at night. So at first, I didn't believe the trunk. It wasn't until you repeated it that my mind completed the picture. That was really cool.
Yeah, I love that too, because it seems like the character is also somebody who might be doubted. So creating that sort of like, oh no, oh, she really did mean trunk, right? I love the smell of fear and aftershave. But then I feel like it transitioned. Like I thought she was saved, and then that ending made me question everything I thought I knew. Was that on purpose?
She is saved. It's just she's been poisoned / drugged, so she doesn't really know what's happening.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was definitely the feeling I was getting from like you're floating, but not really. It was that feeling of like not being able to embody your body because you've been, drugged.
But the what if they are, what if they are? It's like, what if they are?
Yeah.
What if this is the bad person after all? Also, you were supposed to meet her after school, and I'm like, where does that come from? And I really want to know, like, did that person set her up or whatever?
I'm sure she would like to know too.
These characters that appear and give us their stories, and we're like, okay, what's next? Suze, that was really compelling.
Thank you. Fatal in the end. This novel coming.
All right, who's next?
I'll go. You didn't know it at the time, but you didn't deserve everything that happened. When you cowered by the front door with your little brother as your painstakingly constructed Lego set sailed by and smashed into the wall, you thought this was just how things are. It didn't mean you didn't hate it, but it gave your 10-year-old mind the tools it needed to endure. You survived and you continued surviving, but there were scars. They spread like filthy, cancerous roots into the meat of your brain, invading until they penetrated your soul and pumped the foul corruption into your being. You're worthless. You're weak. No one will ever love you. You're too fucked up. No more. It's been a long path, but you do prevail. You do pursue your dreams, but it's a while yet. And most importantly, you do matter. You have worth. You deserve to be loved.
I want to hug you.
Zoom needs a hug function.
I can't say as fast as all, but that everything that everybody else said, strong agree.
And whatever somebody sent you on Discord, I know I already agree with that too. I loved one of the things that I've been experiencing, and this is to get a little bit personal, but experiencing with these Service Academy women writing workshops is we've all had these really similar experiences. And when you described that you had the tools to endure, but then there were scars and those scars spread like filthy cancerous roots. And I think the meat of your brain, I mean, I think, yeah. And I thought, that's it. Like these are the scars we don't see and the scars that really spread and the scars that are cancerous in the way that they work against us. I just thought that was, I mean, just you are the king of figurative language, but that was some of the best that you've come up with, in my opinion. Anyone else?
I my contingent reality on that particular part is I now have this machine that is going to stretch out the scars in my lungs. And so like to flip that on the other side, like it's just, I don't know. That's what came to my mind.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Stretching
literal
out the scars.
scars.
Like, is that what we're doing? Anyone who has scars like this that have infiltrated their brains and their bloods and their whole beings, are
It
we
affects you
stretching them?
physically.
Are we, yeah, and are we stretching them out so that we can become, so that we can heal? Is that how you heal a scar? By stretching it out?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a while.
And it's a while yet. I love that. It's a while yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that first, that in that opening too, you didn't know at the time, but you didn't deserve this. I think I also have been hearing that a lot from people who like me. So it's pretty cool to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, scar therapy. That's the title of that one. I mean, in my mind, it gets to be whatever you want it to be. Oh, Randall, thank you. That was vulnerable and amazing. And being told in that second person point of view put every one of us and our own experiences into it. So amazing. Thank you. Who's next? Who wants to follow that?
I'll go.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. You look out the window, the trees are blending in with the buildings, and you remember the way you used to bend speed at your whim inside a moving car. This time, though, you find yourself inside a moving train, miles away from your home and the known. You look at him, your heart sinks, and your head pounds against the walls of your head. The clouds, the sky, they all know what you now know. They've known all along. You try and close your eyes, rewinding every decision that led up to this point. This isn't love. You know, love doesn't, sorry. Oh, you know, love doesn't hurt this much. Love doesn't bruise your limbs and promise change. This love isn't love.
Lose your limbs and promise what?
Bruise. Bruise your
yeah.
limbs.
And promise change.
Nice.
I mean, wow.
Wow.
They all know what you now know they've known all along. That sentence. Amanda. Wow. That was incredible. What else do people love? I mean, like everything about that was just, I mean, yeah.
The movement was really something. That tree blending in with the building, and then being on a train, and I could really feel the movement of it. And it seemed sort of juxtaposed against a person who had been trapped, you know. That was really cool.
Like instead of brilliant, I think it is like more delightful.
Except for that complicated delightful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like delightful writing about something really hard.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know everybody else has had you in all the cool other places, like the liminals and stuff, but like to me, this is by far the most profound thing I've heard you write, and it was amazing. So I hope you're can just keep on writing because it was amazing. And man, if you stuck that train in sunrise, you're headed towards snoozing. That's all I can tell you. The horror of like, if you amplify the monstrousness of what the promises were and the bruised limbs, and I mean, like, you're on your way. That's all I'm saying. I mean, some people that can help you with that because they're involved with it. But it was brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
And I have not been keeping track. So I would skip you because I have no idea who's gone. I've just been enjoying myself so much. I know Kevin has not gone because we're kind of traditionally getting him towards the end. Is that where we are? Has everybody else gone?
Jessica?
Kevin's getting Randall. I was thinking that last time.
What that means, but I'll take that
Go
moniker,
ahead
I
and
guess.
take it. Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. So what will happen when your soul cries wolf? When you've tapped and cracked and lost the gumdrop buttons holding it all together? Do you take the offer and get in the Dodge Astro with Manson, Dahmer, Gacy, or Guy Deray? Would you show them the gingerbread scars where your gingerbread pants should be and frost on your smile with baked-in goodness? Or will nothing come but your echo of wolf?
Wow.
Oh my God. So submit that. Absolutely. So amazing that it seems to be this combination of the cry wolf fable to like a sexual assault to, you know, um, the gingerbread man on Drury Lane. I mean, holy crap, holy. I don't even know how there's a couple of them that came out like this, and I didn't even know that could come from this prompt.
Is the ginger?
Em,
Sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was going to say Em said speechless, but now it's your turn, so go.
Is the gingerbread man like a callback to the murderer on Drury Lane? Because I know that you brought in like Dahmer and a bunch of other serial killers. Is that like a callback to the other like murder of Drury Lane?
I don't know. Um,
Is it 532 that we do the 100-word story?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kevin, you're totally gonna kick that ass.
Yeah.
Are you in the MFA, Kevin, or the MA? Oh,
Oh.
yeah, you're in the MA because you're in my class.
No, I'm dual enrolled.
Oh, you're dual enrolled. Okay. Okay. Are you taking 532?
What's the title of it?
No, that's a great question. Studies in place and setting. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Probably.
I'm teaching it next term, so it would have been amazing if you were in it next term because I would have loved to have you again.
No, I have the tuition assistance ceiling. So
Oh, right, which I'm about to run into. Like, you know what I mean? I'm starting in 2 weeks. So okay. Quick unrelated question to that brilliant piece. But if you chose to pay for a class, that doesn't count because that's not a benefit, right? So like you could keep going if you weren't
yeah.
on the ceiling. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and they'd take it. They can take it out of your check if you'd like. It's just a tax deduction. They after a certain amount in a year, it becomes a corporate gift, and you hit a tax threshold, and you got to
Yeah.
report it to Uncle Sam.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good to think about. Thank you for the advice. I'll be contacting you again. Going, now what, Kevin? I don't know if these things happen, but I just want to say, for one, you had me at gumdrop buttons holding it all together because already that was so tenuous. But then to turn it into the gingerbread man And then that feeling, because do you mind reading the sentence that has to do with like something about basically the gingerbread man parts, like sexual parts or something.
Yeah, would you show them the gingerbread scars where gingerbread pants should be and frost on your smile with baked in goodness?
Yeah. So that was the impression entirely, that we were dealing with something to do with sexual assault, that there was a cry wolf, but there's also the wolf of the soul. I mean, there's so much going on in there. And I have this faith that it actually resolves into something that matters. And that if I spent my time stewing in the words in front of me on the page, if I had read this, considering whether or not I'd use it for a prompt, I have faith that I will come to the resolution that this was worth my time and that there was meaning I could draw from it. And it's not simple, which is great. It doesn't have to be, right? I mean, simple can be great, but also this kind of complex is also really great. Did everybody read? Did everybody go? We had a group this big and I kept us somewhat on time. I mean, I realize it's almost 2 hours, but look at what a big group we had. So, and everybody read. Yeah. Let me stop recording.